Yeah, CH4 has the objective to decarbonize at large scale the hard-to-abate sectors. That is primarily shipping, but it will also be aviation and others. At the base of this is three well-established technologies, as a matter of fact, which is farming of seaweed, using that as biomass to produce biogas, and then upgrading the biogas into biomethane and biogenic CO2. And the biomethane is ready to be used as either liquefied natural gas LNG, or some will call it LBM, liquefied biomethane. Or we are working also on using it as compressed gas for harbor tugs and fishing vessels, which would allow, especially developing countries, easy transition into green shipping corridors. The biogenic CO2 that we're producing, which has been removed from the ocean as part of the photosynthesis, will deliver the carbon atom that's needed in the green hydrogen sector to make any type of e-fuel that is not ammonia. And that is important because whilst ammonia is gaining traction in the shipping industry as alternative fuel, it doesn't have the energy density. So particularly reaching island states will become an issue, because most vessels won't have the reach to get there, and the islands won't have the fuel supply to get the vessels back. So we'll have the higher energy density fuels available. Long term, we also see sustainable aviation fuels and so on. Importantly, we farm an indigenous species. So this seaweed is available around all the shores of the globe. And it means that whilst we can co-digest the likes of sargassum and so on that are as pests somewhere, we don't need to use an alien species for biomass, which those cases of using alien species for biomass always means either I'm successful in combating the alien species invasion and I'm losing my business case, or I'm successful with my business case of creating energy, which means I continue having the invasive species. We are using a local species, and it's also compatible with the green hydrogen sector. It's compatible with the kelp farming. We can co-digest that. And with the co-digestion, that's also how we will be able to get this solution into the island states to produce there as well, over and above just Africa, the Middle East, and Southern America. Now, in terms of SDGs, we're particularly, our core value is the life underwater, so SDG 14, and removing the CO2 from the ocean means that we're reducing ocean acidification and eutrophication, as well as by providing jobs here in the West Coast in South Africa, where we develop this. We will significantly reduce poaching of marine resources by providing jobs at large scale. Then it is not just neutralizing CO2, but the fuels are cleaner. So we're removing particles, NOx and sulfur, making the overall emissions healthier as well. Whilst it isn't the direct aim to provide energy to the people of Africa immediately, long run, yes, but we will have plenty energy available on site that we can disperse to the surrounding communities. We're providing salaries, which allows people to buy energy in first place. It will be the way how Africa, who has been identified as the next place to produce alternative energy, how it can evacuate the energy at all, struggling with transmission in general. So that is where we then partner with the green hydrogen sector. Then we are very much aiming at providing what we call enabling salaries. So not just a living salary, but we want people to get rid of their debt, create property, and afford education to their kids as well. So with all of that, we're working closer towards the just energy transition. We've designed this all around community involvement. So the communities will be upskilled to work on site, and we're going into rural communities where there is no other economic opportunity, largely because there is no pre-existing infrastructure. We will bring all infrastructure with us and thereby also create the opportunity for other SMEs. Now, we have secured investment through someone that comes from a fishing family down in Cape Town. So they have recognized the writings on the wall and diversification and sustainability and blue economy and how all of that works together. Together with them, we are now building our testing facility this year in Q3. And we've already got partnerships on the go to go into piloting thereafter in Namibia. We do believe we're going to get the first large-scale production, likely Namibia, maybe in South Africa. And then ultimately, we're looking at scaling to some 18,000 kilometers of low-lying desert shores. Why desert? Because we don't want to we won't want to impact on arable land. So we don't want to impact negatively on food production. And it's also areas that are not under civilization pressure. What you can probably see on the picture on the right is not just in red the areas where we can scale to, but you also might see in yellow the vessel traffic. We are able to produce in direct vicinity of 5 of the 9 global shipping bottlenecks. And producing in Africa will then also improve trade activity, because providing these fuels that are highly sought after in shipping will draw in more vessels into the ports, which on the global scheme are underperforming. So by virtue of being able to supply the fuels, we will improve trade activity. Now I've got here a QR code if you want to download a whole deck, because we only had 5 minutes. I've got more on commercials and much more on technology and everything there, as well as you're always welcome to contact me as well. Yeah, and I'll leave it there.